Welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Hey, folks, we're broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin, serving the Fox River Valley. And today we are definitely highlighting some fantastic Elgin opportunities. At the first hour here, we talked a little bit with Kelly Estrada, who is the owner of Sugar and Rhyme here in downtown Elgin, all of the great pastries that you can enjoy too. And she also talked a bit about how the arts and entertainment kind of intertwine with Sugar and Rhyme itself too. So I thought that that was a great way as a little introduction, of course, to talking about the arts and entertainment here in Elgin. So we're very excited here. We want to welcome some awesome guests here. We're going to be talking a bit about the Elgin Artspace Lofts, which I still have yet to go to. I still have yet to go to and experience all the greatness that's there too. So I definitely hope to do that very, very soon. I want to welcome our guests to the stage here. Let me make sure I get the cameras up here and the mics. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. How's everybody doing?
Good, very good, very well, good.
Thanks.
If you all want to start with a little introduction on yourselves, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Donnell Collins. I've had the opportunity to show some work up here at the Elgin Artspace. Is that what it's called?
Elgin Artspace Lofts.
Lofts, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was that show kicked off last Saturday. Just a little bit about myself. I've been a photographer professionally since about 1987. Started as an intern with Copley newspapers, and that led to part-time, then full-time job, and so probably worked as a working photojournalist for about 35 years before retiring in 2024. So.
Awesome. Very cool.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is James Harvey. I'm a photographer, and I'm a resident at Elgin Artspace Lofts. Elgin Artspace Lofts has been here in Elgin for about 12 years. And at Elgin Artspace Lofts in the gallery to help celebrate Black History Month, we do have an exhibit from February the 1st to the 28th, and we would like to try to invite everyone to see the art of Donnell Collins and also Michael Bracey, who are members of the Chicago Alliance of African American Photographers. The gallery is located at 51 South Spring Street. That's 51 South Spring Street, 60120. And the gallery is open Monday through Friday from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. Saturdays from 2 to 5, closed on Sunday. Admission is free. So please come out, and we have wonderful art. And also, too, we have artwork from the African American Coalition of Kane County. And please come out and have a friend. And next, we have our wonderful Mr. Michael Bracey.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Bracey, and I'm a documentary photographer basically focused on the African diaspora. I travel the world as much as I possibly can looking for people of African descent, telling their stories of why and where and when. And so, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to bring some of my work to the Elgin Artspace Lofts, yeah, for Black History Month, which is designated in the month of February, but Black History is 24/7, 365 days a year.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit here about the Elgin Artspace Lofts. What drew you to live there, and how does it create an atmosphere here that impacts on your daily life?
Well, Elgin Artspace Lofts is only one of 55 properties of Artspace. Artspace is located, corporate offices is in Minnesota. They've been in business for they've been building affordable housing for artists and their families since the 1970s. So Elgin Artspace Lofts is one of 55 properties. There's a local property called Pullman Artspace Lofts. There's one up in Michigan City, Indiana, and Artspace goes in and builds affordable housing for artists and their families, and it's what we call live workspace. I'm a photographer in the Elgin area, and I'm able to work and live in my space. I do headshots, I do events, and I do a lot of events and projects in the Elgin area, and I'm able to live and work at Artspace. And we have wonderful facility there, and we have studio apartments, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments, and we're happy that the city of Elgin and was able to put this thing together 12 years ago. So it's a wonderful place at 51 South Spring Street, and the gallery is open. Like I say, we have a wonderful exhibit there for Black History Month, and we like to open the doors, and looking forward to seeing ladies and gentlemen and families that stop in.
Awesome. Very cool. So a little bit more on the Elgin Artspace Lofts. So do you have, does the Artspace Lofts offer rooms for people to work in while also being able to, of course, have the 1-2-bedroom apartments there too? So is there an area that you can literally walk right downstairs and you have a workspace to work in?
Well, we have a community room, and we have commercial space that we do have artists can rent. You might have heard of the wonderful wooden art maker Googie.
Yes.
Googie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in that building, and he builds and constructs, as you know, world-class art.
Josh Googie. His son went to my school.
That's
He was in
right.
my
Well,
class. Mm-hmm.
well, so he has a full-time studio there that his dad, as you know, established, and he's in the building. And I think we have two other persons that have space there. So we have commercial space, we have residential space, and it's just a great art space.
Absolutely. I did take one of his classes at one point too. So
Excellent.
And I think that that's really cool too. You have a building where so many different artists can come together and experience other different art forms and speak with each other and learn from each other. And I think that that is so great that we as a community here in Elgin have that, but also too that you have the Artspace Lofts that allows for an even greater sense of community because you're literally right by each other.
Yes, I agree.
So very, very cool. And tell us a little bit here too on how do you feel the development of Elgin's downtown, particularly the Artspace Lofts, has contributed to the local arts and cultural scene even outside of the actual building itself?
Well, at Elgin Artspace Lofts, we do have artists there who are writers, painters. We have people there who are writers, and they're out in the community. We have DuPage Court that just opened up, and we used to have the Friday Arts right there on Spring Street. Mm-hmm. We used to have that there, and you might remember Nightmare on Chicago Street. We used to have that patrons for arts for Nightmare on Chicago Street. We used to have painting faces in there, and at Elgin Artspace Lofts, you might have heard of Fred Williams. Mm-hmm. Fred Williams has art also exhibited at this location. So we're involved in the community, and we have people that come and go, and Elgin Artspace now is a part of the community.
I think that's really great because it's something I don't think a lot of people maybe know a whole lot about, or for those of you who are tuning in on YouTube or through our website or through the AM 1410 dial, that this community really does have such a strong sense of community, and also working together to create a community, and also using the arts too. I think is so the arts is very strong here in Elgin. Mm-hmm. And someone who has grown up in Elgin pretty much most of my life, I've seen that. I've seen that all around Elgin. I've seen it grow, and I've continued to see it grow too, which is fantastic. I know we've got the it's on Ziegler Court. Oh my goodness, Side Street Studio Arts.
That's
right. Another one too. We've got record stores. I mean, there's just so much that this city has to offer.
Growing.
Yep, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, tell me a little bit here too. Of course, you are photographers. Do you also incorporate other art forms into your photography? Painting, drawing, pencil work,
multimedia.
Michael or Donnell?
No, I do not.
We're kind of like purists then.
Yeah.
I'm a multimedia artist, but I separate it.
Okay.
Like I do glass paintings, sculpture, but I don't really incorporate my photography into that.
Okay. The photography is raw. You get that raw capture on actually what's happening.
Right. Yeah. What old school. So
yeah. I like
back
it.
to the film days. So.
You've got quite the cameras there too, which is fantastic. Yeah, very, very cool. Tell us a little bit here, too. How do you think Elgin's efforts to preserve and enhance downtown impact access to the arts and culture for people from all walks of life? So, getting a little bit on affordability and inclusivity in the arts community. Are you seeing a positive change in that?
Yeah, we see things that, like at Elgin Artspace Lofts, that building has studio apartments, has 1-bedroom apartments, has 2-bedroom apartments, has 3-bedrooms apartments. So there's something to choose from, and it's very good.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So tell us a little bit more about the upcoming event here. This is, I know it's also posted on Explore Elgin Area. This is the first annual Pan-African Artist Showcase. I know we did talk just very briefly about it. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail?
Well, it's an exhibit that we have art, we have photographs, we have sculpture, and these are two of the artists who have worked there. On the wall, we have Donnell Collins, who has some wonderful works on the wall, and I'll throw it over here to him in just a second. He could talk about his art that's on the wall. And then we have Michael Bracey, and he has art, and I think that maybe these two artists can tell you about their art that's on the wall.
Absolutely.
In the gallery.
Handsome people go first. Darnell.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the artwork.
Well, I have 5 pieces. They're all kind of historical. It's my number one all-time assignment was photographing and meeting Rosa Parks. And from that, I guess I bookend my career, everything in between meeting Rosa Parks, photographing her, who was being interviewed by icons in journalism, Studs Terkel from Chicago, Vernon Jarrett, and also in the room was Mamie Till Mobley on that day. So it was just power packed.
Yeah.
And then I bookend that with traveling down to the capital of Alabama and meeting the ex-governor George Wallace. So, he was kind of the reason for Rosa, in my opinion, So standing at the door and preventing progress, and then someone who opened that door, like Rosa Parks. So, and then there's other work. There's a unique picture of a Coke machine that has 2 doors on it, made by Coca-Cola in I don't know if it's the 40s or the 50s, the Cavalier 102. You can look that up, Google that, and this picture just shows what the extreme that one person will go to humiliate and take the life from another. And this particular machine has 2 doors on it. As I call it, the Jim Crow Coke machine. It has a door for whites and a door for blacks to buy Cokes from a machine. I mean.
Yeah,
I laugh to keep from crying. So, and then there's a couple other pieces. I think the best portrait I ever took in my life was in there from a show I did years ago called Skillets, which featured young African American men and women, but predominantly women, and it just kind of it was about self-esteem. Be proud of who you are and how God blessed you naturally. You don't have to. Go to Revlon and purchase beauty when you naturally have it. So,
absolutely.
So that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. And then you want to talk a little bit about some of your art that's going to be on display?
Yes, on the wall I have a few images from my latest trip to Ghana, West Africa, and also to Liberia. So to Ghana, long story short, walked into this village, had my camera, these kids were all around. This one little cute girl, she just looked at me and she just left. And I'm like, Well, she came back shortly and she had this lipstick on, just basically just drawn all over her lips. And she just started posing for me. So that was such a cute shot. So that image is in the show, as well as another image of this little boy. He's got a branch, a twig in one hand, and a plant in the other hand. But those are his toys, just so simple. Those are his toys. So I like to show the simplicity of life in certain places like that.
That's really cool that you say that, the simplicity of life. Because sometimes we look at artwork and there's so much, there's a lot of things going on, but sometimes even having, like you said, the simple elements to it of what's actually being shown and represented can actually, even if it's simply done, can speak for, you know, can say 1,000 words.
Yeah. I think and one of the reasons why, well, a lot of times we're told how to think by media, you know, images and things like that. And, but you know, it's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. A lot of times we put too much thought into things and just let it be. And another one of my images on the wall is it was taken in Liberia. And I don't know if a lot of people know about Liberia, but Liberia was the country that was basically, long story short, founded by freed African-American slaves. Okay. They were given, there was this organization called the American Colonization Society in the 1800s, basically created by abolitionists. And so they basically gave people who were freed the opportunity to kind of get themselves together in what eventually became the United States, or they could leave and go to the Caribbean, or they could go back to Africa. Well, the ones who went back to Africa, long story short, they founded this area which became Liberia, which basically means liberty, okay? And there was a lot of conflict and things there, but anyway, they settled. And so just coming up 100 years or so afterwards, there's been a lot of civil wars there. And a lot of the civil wars were children, child soldiers. So I had the opportunity to interview some of those child soldiers, those former child soldiers, which are called Zogos. And Zogo is a derogatory name that they don't like, but basically they're undesirable people. So a lot of them, they can't get jobs because of what they did. And they didn't want to be child soldiers. They were like snatched off the streets, drugged, and then given guns and just told them to go out and shoot people. But now they can't really find themselves in society. So they're like thieves, drug addicts. They're just out there. So anyway, I had the opportunity to interview some of them and photograph. And so one of the photographs on the wall in the gallery is of these three guys that were part of that.
That speaks so much. I mean, even just having that picture on the wall, I'm sure it's just
Well, and the reason why I like that image, because you can look at it and feel the fatigue, the emotion that they're going through, because they're just like, one of them sweating and the other one's talking. The other guy's just laid back on the couch that they're sitting on, and so.
It's amazing. It's photographing things like that. I mean, I think it's so raw and real, which I think is what we need. Yeah. You know, there's so much fabrication and
well, like I said, we're a lot of times we're indoctrinated. We're told how to think.
Right.
And I try to, with my work, I try to tell the truth. You know, I try to tell the truth. I mean, because like when I was growing up, my idea of Africa was Tarzan. You know, this white guy, you know, and all these black Africans, he's in Africa, but they're all bowing down to him and everything. I'm like, something's not right with that.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And then one more piece that I want to just mention. It's not a photograph; it's a tapestry that I have on the wall there. And basically, it's a tapestry woven by this group. I can't remember the Spanish name for it, but this group of women in Colombia, where their villages have been just destroyed because of the FARC wars and things like that down there. And so what they do for therapy is they get together in a circle, and then they make these tapestries, basically depicting their villages. Okay. So, but it's really cool. They're really getting out there in the world so people can find out what they're doing.
Absolutely. And you'll be able to find this at the Artspace as well, too. So I know that the next one is coming up Saturday. There's Saturday, February 8th from 2 to 4 p.m. I know that you had the opening remarks 3 to 6. That was on February 1st, and then February 15th from 1 until 4. You're going to incorporate, of course, there's photos, paint, sculpture, digital, and music as well, too, that opened February 1st. And then the artist talk, February 8th. Do you want to talk a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, February 8th is going to be Michael Bracey. Michael Bracey is going to go more in depth on Saturday, February the 8th. Doors open actually at 2 o'clock. And we have like a mixer like from 12 to like about 2 o'clock. And then our wonderful speaker, Michael Bracey, is going to come on at 3 o'clock, go a little bit more in depth and paint a little bit more of a picture. And last week, we had the wonderful speaker, Donnell Collins, and Donnell talked about his, some people might remember his name and images from the northwest suburbs here. And he worked for, who was that, the Courier, and what else?
I was up here for a couple years, but the bulk of my career was at the Beacon News in Aurora.
Yeah. And I just want to add, too, also, too, as far as Elgin Artspace Lofts, the personnel, Matt, people such as Elgin residents such as Mark and Robin Siegel and Jack and Mrs. Shells. And, you know, we've had organizations like the Elgin Chamber, the Ecker Center, Boys and Girls Club of Elgin has been at Elgin Artspace Lofts. We've done events for food for Greater Elgin. We've had weddings at Elgin Artspace Lofts. So it's been a place where thousands of people have come, and we're looking forward to the future. To the future, having other organizations and.
Is there going to be food there Saturday?
Yes, there will.
There's going to be food, people.
We're going to have food, and we had food. Am I correct? Last week we had wonderful food. But most important thing is that we're going to feed your creativity. Exactly. Michael Bracey sitting here has images, and he's going to walk you through Vietnam.
Yeah, well, what I try to do, because I'll be speaking Saturday. So basically, the theme of my presentation is going to be my purpose, my who, my what, my where, and my why. You know, and I believe that everybody has that, but in a lot of times, you know, we're busy with life and so on and so on. So how often do we sit down and look in the mirror and have a conversation with that person you're going to spend your entire life with? Yeah. So my presentation Saturday is going to be kind of philosophical. You know, my philosophy, what I have gone through and why I've gone through it, and what I continue to do to get to put my presence on life.
Absolutely. So. Folks, we're going to take a little time out here, and we'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410 here in just a little bit, so stay tuned. Remember that you can listen to us live on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. You can tune in through the AM 1410 dial, check out our website, or also go download the app as well, too. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a bit.
I'm Trey Westerberg, WRMN News. The Elgin